The 10 most famous paintings of Jesus. The figure of Jesus is the most iconic in history. The art around the image of Jesus Christ has been idealized by both amateur artists and great masters. The figures were both fully human and fully divine, painted on the canvas. The first most famous paintings of Jesus is The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. The work recreates the last Easter meeting between Jesus and his apostles based on the story described in the Gospel of John, chapter 13. The artist imagined and has managed to express the desire that haunts the minds of the disciples to know who he is betraying his master. Fresco paintings are usually created by applying pigment over the intonaco, a thin layer of wet lime plaster. This is normally the best technique to use as it allows the cool to take care of the natural respiration or sweating that a wall does as moisture moves up to the surface. However, in the Last Supper, Da Vinci chose to use oil paint as this material dries much slower, allowing him to work on the image in a much slower and more detailed manner. The next painting, famous painting, was the Transfiguration of Jesus by painter Raphael. The artwork was originally intended for the cathedral in France and now hangs in the Vatican City. After Raphael's death, the painting was never sent to France, and the cardinal hung it instead on the high altar of the Church of the Blessed Amadeus of San Pietro in Montorio, Rome, in 1523. The painting can be seen as reflecting a dichotomy at the simplest level: the redemptive force of Christ, symbolized by the purity and symmetry of the upper half of the painting. This is in contrast to man's shortcomings, symbolized in the lower half of the bleak and chaotic scenes. And the next famous painting is Michelangelo's Last Judgement, which is located on the wall behind the altar in the Sistine Chapel. His depiction of the second coming of Christ in the Last Judgment sparked immediate controversy from the Counter Reformation Catholic Church. Michelangelo was to paint the end of the time, the beginning of eternity, when the mortal becomes immortal, when the elect join Christ in his heavenly kingdom, and the damned are thrown into the endless torments of hell. No artist in 16th century Italy was better positioned for this task than Michelangelo, whose fine work sealed his reputation as the greatest master of the human figure. Christ Carrying the Cross by El Greco, a Spanish painter, was the perfect image of humanity. The work stands out for the characteristic brush strokes with which the painter uses color to shape the volumes and distorts the body to reflect the character's spiritual earning. There is a delicate contrast between her robust shoulders and the feminine beauty of her hands. However, there are no signs of pain in his face, just as his passive hands do not express anguish or effort to carry the cross. Greco paints the eyes of Christ with dramatic and exaggerated tears in them. His eyes are the key element of the painting as they express a lot of emotion. This intensely powerful image of Jesus on the cross was painted by Diego Velázquez. The picture brings out the devotional and solemn attitude of the theme. Secondly, it reflects his skill in figure painting acquired in Spain from the study of the Spanish Renaissance arts. The influence of classicism in the work is shown in general calm of the body and its idealized posture. Around the year 1508 or 1509, Titian painted an oil painting that is known as Christ Carrying the Cross. The actual origins of the painting are somewhat mysterious, and several art historians have even attributed it at times to another Italian painter. Both painters belong to a guild of artists. The overall mood of the play is gloomy and dark. The brightest colors are muted flesh tones, and the palette is dominated by various shades of brown. Characteristically for Titian, the painting is full of action and so natural, and repose seems far away for the characters depicted. Salvator Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci is another famous attractive painting of Leonardo, but lost its place on our list of 100 most famous paintings in history. And the next, The Disciples of Emmaus by Caravaggio, is another masterpiece of painting which shows the pilgrimage of our Lord to Emmaus or the supper at Emmaus. The painting shows the moment when two apostles accompanying him realize that one who has been speaking to them all day has been their beloved teacher. In the work, Caravaggio depicts the disciples as ordinary workers with bearded, wrinkled faces and tattered clothes, in contrast to the beardless young Christ who seems to have come from a different world. Christ, the Pantocrator, is a painted wooden panel dating from 6th century from the monastery of Saint Catherine located in Sinai, Egypt. This painting is considered as one of the oldest Byzantine religious icons and is known as the oldest known work in Pantocrator style. The word Pantocrator means almighty or omnipotence. Christ Pantocrator icon emphasized the omnipotence of Jesus his power to do anything. Jesus is the ruler of all, who upholds all things. The most famous popular of Dali's religious works is undoubtedly his Christ of Saint John of the Cross. The painting was inspired by a painting kept in a convent of the Incarnation kept in Avila, Spain. At the bottom of his studies, we find Dali writes, first of all, in 1951, I had a cosmic dream in which I saw this color image, and that in my dream represented the nucleus of the atom. This nucleus later took on a metaphysical meaning. I considered Christ the very unity of the universe. Secondly, thanks to the instructions of Father Bruno, a Carmelite, I saw the Christ drawn by Saint John of the Cross. I geometrically elaborated a triangle and a circle which summarized aesthetically all my previous experiences, and I inscribed my Christ in this triangle. To sum up, these paintings are so real, they bring life to the pictures of the paintings of Jesus Christ. We feel as if that we have seen the real image with life. Christians began to visually represent Jesus in the late 300s once the threat of persecution no longer existed. These early images present Jesus as a stoic figure seated on a throne with a scroll. In 600s, Christ Pantocrator emerged as a simplification of that early image. The appearance of Christ has hardly changed in the late 1500 years. Most of the early images of Jesus were destroyed during the iconoclastic controversy. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and please enjoy and don't forget to share your comments regarding the paintings.